Greetings fellow traders, this is Max and welcome to my Sunday market analysis where I'm gonna analyze the market and share with you my top trades for the upcoming week. Last week I was in a short position in CAD JPY, which I then closed at around break even. Reason was probably because we had a market holiday and there weren't as many news, or there were a couple news, but they just didn't move the market as much as I expected to move the market. So we kind of ranged here around this area and we didn't really make a new low. So I decided to not hold this trade over the weekend to save on swap fees and so on, and to close it here break even. But I have narrowed down the market to 6 pairs where I think those are my top setups for this week now, my top trades. I've also looked at the other pairs again, but I haven't marked them as my favorite trades now because I've set alarms there. And if those alarms are getting triggered, then I will have a look at those pairs again and plan a potential trade and a potential position. If you want to get notified for that, you can join my free Telegram group. I will put the link to it into the video description. So let's start here with the pair GBP CAD. On the weekly chart, we see again that we are still in a very beautiful downtrend. We haven't created a new low. We actually, on the weekly chart at least, we broke this area here and even this area, the round psychological level. We have retested this area down here and I missed to enter or to open a position down here, but that's no problem. If you look at the daily chart, we see that we kind of broke this level again. We retested the level, even almost like a retest of the EMA, but it looks to me like there is still enough buying pressure to actually drive the price up further again. The daily chart is having a really great morning star pattern here, which is essentially here in this context would be a continuation pattern. It's a very bullish signal. And on the lower time frame, what I would like to see here is after those neutral candles, a small breakout above this area, the round psychological level here, then a minor retest, and this is going to be my entry to then buy GBP CAD. And the first profit target, I mean, it depends, but it will probably be if I manage to enter around this area, something like that, then first profit target would be the recent high here. So that would be almost a nice 1-to-3 risk reward ratio for this trade. But I will be patient and not enter too early. I hope the London session is going to give me a really great entry so that I will enter when there is enough volume in the market. My next top pair is going to be GBP NZD. So on the weekly chart, we see here we're still making new highs. We haven't shifted the structure, so we didn't create a new low on the weekly. The recent weekly, however, candlestick closed in something like a hammer, which is technically a bullish signal. But as we saw here, we kind of closed below this area, and now it could be that we have retested this area already and the price is just going to reverse now to the upside. That could happen. What could also happen is that we get a wick fill this week actually, and then price is going to close down in this area here. But we do not really know this right now. So we rejected this round psychological level, and the former resistance level has apparently turned into support. So my entry is not going to be right away here, but what I want to see is a retracement down into this area here again to then form some kind of inverse head and shoulders, and then actually enter at the inverse right or left shoulder, however you want to look at it, and enter a long position here on GBP NZD to then hold this for, yeah, it could be a really big risk reward ratio actually. So let's see, I think a 1-to-5 is definitely realistic, but the more conservative approach would be to target this area here with a 1-to-2 first, and then see how price is reacting here, if we are breaking above, or if this area is getting rejected. But this is going to be my plan for GBP NZD. Fairly simple. I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to enter straight away, but I could imagine that this potential entry might occur relatively early, possibly during London session, and then I'm going to buy it if I get my entry signal. Next pair is going to be GBP USD. On the weekly again, we see that we are in a very, very strong downtrend. So, in a very strong uptrend. So I am expecting a retracement now actually preferably down into this area here. That's a fairly big move actually for an entire week. The alternative would be this around this area here where the price is right now. However, this is not really a strong breakout for me, and I do not feel comfortable entering at a retest of this area, which is a like 1 day candle as a retest of that. So I'm just going to patiently wait for price to come down into this area again. Might not actually happen this week. It could actually happen next week, but we never know how strong the market is going to move. We have a couple news releases here, so who knows what's going to happen with the market. If we have a giant liquidity grab here and then I get my entry signal while we reject the EMA, then this is a really nice setup for me to buy GBP USD. But if price doesn't come down to this area, I'm just going to be patient and wait for price to give me the formation that I want to see. The next pair is going to be NZD CAD. So on the weekly, we have really strong bullish candles here, and we left this really huge wick, and we still closed above this area, which is telling me that we might get a wick fill this week. So we are going to fill the wick pretty much of the recent week. What I want to see, however, is still a retest of this area, so a small wick down in the beginning of this week, or pretty much on the weekly wick. I want to see this wick down here, which is pretty much the retest that I am looking for. Maybe some sort of fake out of this potential double top or head and shoulders pattern here. See a fake out below this area, then it's going to give me my entry signal, and then I'm going to buy NZD CAD. However, it could of course just be happening right now, going to turn into a right shoulder, and the price is going to reverse to the downside. But I'm not interested in selling as of right now, so I'm just going to be patient, because maybe price is going to retest this area first, this area down here. Then a potential area in this, or a potential entry in this area is definitely I should definitely take this into consideration. But as of right now, I am looking for a price movement that pretty much looks like this: fake out or liquidity grab, and then entry signal to buy NZD CAD. Next pair, and almost last pair, is going to be NZD JPY. So on the weekly, we are creating new lows still, and we reverse pretty strong here, basically retesting this area around psychological level. We haven't really reached it, so I am really careful with this trade on a lower time frame. I kind of, the ideal price movement, or price move that I would love to see is a liquidity grab around this area here, the liquidity that's sitting above this level. However, this is just the 85.5 round psychological level. What we have here is actually the 85 round psychological level, and we actually had a little like a little move above this area, so that might have taken out all the necessary liquidity already. What I want to see now is maybe a right shoulder here, and then I would, with the correct entry signal, maybe like an evening star or an engulfing candlestick, something like this here, for example, then I would like to enter here at the right shoulder to then sell NZD JPY, and first profit target then is going to be this area here, definitely. So a trade with a lot of downside potential, a lot of profit potential. We even rejected on the daily the EMA here, so I see that a right shoulder is definitely likely. However, alternatively, I would wait for a break of this double top, a small retest, maybe even rejecting the 4-hour EMA or the 2-hour EMA here again. And I'm going to set an alarm as well to then sell NZD JPY for a low risk setup. But other than that, the right shoulder would be a nice entry for me. The last pair is going to be NZD USD. So on the weekly, we had this really huge weekly engulfing candlestick, bullish engulfing candlestick, and we even crossed the EMA and crossed this level here, which was once support, then resistance, and now it's not resistance, so I want to see it turn into potential support here. I'm just going to patiently wait for price to come down into this area, have the rejection that I'm pretty much looking for, right? So a bullish rejection with maybe a large wick like that on the daily or something like that. Give me my entry signal, a nice candlestick formation, and then I'm going to buy NZD USD. So I'm just trying to be patient here with the trades for this week, and just not enter too early, wait for proper confirmation and everything. Yeah, because recently I've had, as you saw in my Telegram channel, I had quite a couple losses in a row, so I am just trying to tone it down and do not take very high risk setups. So just patiently wait for price to be in my area, give me my entry signal, a price formation that shows a reversal or whatever. And this is just key. You have to be patient. You have to manage your risk properly. It's totally fine to get stopped out. This is part of the game. You can't win every trade. In fact, if you just win, let's say 30% of all your trades with a good risk reward ratio, you're still going to be profitable. So that's essentially all you need. Stick to your plan and then you can profit off of trading. As I said before, I have analyzed the other pairs as well, but just set alarms there. So if price is triggering one of my alarms, I'm going to have a look at those pairs again, look for potential setups, for potential entries, and of course I'm going to share those in my free Telegram channel, which you can join at any time. As I said, I will put a link to it into the video description. I also share open trades there, trades positions, and regular trade updates. You will also find a link to my other socials in the video description, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I will try to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. I wish you a successful trading week. Remember to manage your risk properly and see you next Sunday.